appointment with you or your office at Access Health on January 15th of 2019, approximately a month before Michael Cochran's death.
Yes.
Did she make that appointment because she had some suspicions as to whether she may or may not have cancer?
My understanding was that she was told that she did have cancer and that we were trying to proceed with that.
And you don't know specifically who or what entity told her that, right?
Correct.
Okay. In her appointment, did she tell you she had made an appointment with the Cleveland Clinic to discuss the possibility of her having cancer, and specifically leukemia, which is a low white blood cell count?
Yes, at the time we were advised about an appointment with Cleveland.
Okay. Did she formally ask you to refer her there, or did she just give an indication she'd already made an appointment?
Just an indication.
Did you discuss her symptoms and why she suspected she might have cancer?
We had talked about various symptoms at the time, yes.
And in those discussions, she told you that she was always sick, always tired. She had cough and congestion that went on for a long time. She had body aches, and diarrhea, and symptoms similar to that.
Yes.
Now, did she call your office the next day, January 16th of 2019? Did she call or make contact with your office?
I believe that was the case, yes.
Okay. And in that discussion, Natalie said that she had to cancel her appointment with the Cleveland Clinic because of insurance problems and coverage and things of that nature. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So subsequently, because she didn't actually was seen at the Cleveland Clinic, you don't have any records from the Cleveland Clinic, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. Did Natalie ask for, and did you give her a referral to Duke University for possible further cancer diagnosis and or treatment?
Yes.
Do your records reflect, or do you have any knowledge that Natalie Cochran was on a waiting list to actually confer with the oncology department at Duke University?
I would be unaware of that.
Okay. Were you aware that she and Michael Cochran drove down to Duke University to go through the emergency department because it was so long for her to get to the oncology department?
I do know that there was an ER appointment at that time.
Okay. Did you receive or get any records from Duke University?
Just from that ER appointment, and I think there may be some cardiology appointments in there too.
Okay. Now, because of Michael Cochran's subsequent death in February of 2019, the investigation into the fraudulent schemes and Natalie Cochran having problems from that. We don't know at this point whether or not Natalie Cochran indeed has cancer. Isn't that correct?
That's fair.
A moment, Your Honor.
Okay.
Thanks, Ian. Now, isn't it also true that Natalie Cochran left your care in March of 2019, so you don't have any further knowledge of her care, treatment, etc.?
Correct.
A moment, Your Honor.
Yes.
The prosecutor asked you about Michael Cochran's supposed allergies, and you don't know from your review of those records whether those were actual allergies or side effects of medications. Isn't that correct?
That's true. Yeah. I wouldn't have put the, I believe those were put in prior, so I don't know what the reaction that he may have had with those was.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Further questions, Mr. Truman?
Yes.
Go right ahead.
As Michael Cochran's primary care physician, you never treated him for diabetes, did you?
No.
Because he didn't have diabetes.
True.
You never prescribed insulin because he didn't need insulin.
True.
Back to the defendant for a moment. Any information that you have as her primary care physician was only what she told you in terms of cancer, correct?
Correct.
And you made efforts to refer her to Duke, correct?
Correct.
Ask this be marked as 34, please.
State's Exhibit 34, Your Honor.
Thank you.
All right, while they work on getting that evidence, let's take a break and we'll get you back in for more of this testimony, the recross of this witness. How long are they going to stay with this family physician, especially on the subject of cancer for the defendant?
Tonight on Closing Arguments, we've heard from her children, but will Natalie Cochran take the stand in her own defense? We're bringing you the latest in the Ponzi scheme murder trial.
Closing Arguments tonight at 8/7 Central, only on Court TV. Join Court TV's Vinnie Politan with the latest and breaking true crime stories.
Now, let's look at the other side of all of that.
Vinnie Politan Investigates tonight, 9/8 Central, only on Court TV.
Shopping today. I'm Kelly Craft in Beckley, West Virginia, covering the Ponzi scheme murder trial. You're watching Court TV, your front row seat to justice.
Let's go back into that West Virginia courtroom where the defense case is winding down. Probably just a couple of witnesses left in the Ponzi scheme murder trial where Natalie Cochran is accused of poisoning her husband, Michael, with insulin. This was after he allegedly started to become suspicious that she was running a multi-million-dollar Ponzi scheme. But the defense says that Michael Cochran knew all about the fraudulent business and that his obsession with bodybuilding led him down a path of misusing drugs. And right now, there's an important witness on the stand talking about this, the family doctor, Zachary Halsey, and he's being asked about whether or not the defendant had cancer, something that was included in a text message that she sent to a neighbor before her husband's death, where she said, "We're suffering from the flu and it's been exacerbated by my cancer treatment."
Hey, what's been marked for identification is stage 34. Take a look at that, please.
Okay.
And in there, it addresses your attempt to refer to a specialist, which was Duke, for the defendant's alleged cancer.
Correct.
What did they tell you, Duke?
That if she did not have a diagnosis of CLL, that they would not see her.
And did they come up with a diagnosis of CLL?
I never received any records from Duke.
Move stage 34 into evidence.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
It is admitted.
Doctor, thank you. State has no further questions.
Anything further, Mr. Selden?
Yes, Your Honor. I would like to take possession of that station number 34.
Okay.
This document purports to be information about Natalie Cochran's referral to Duke University. Was that correct?
Correct. That would be a phone note.
What is CLL?
It's a form of leukemia.
Which can be indicated by a low white blood cell count. Isn't that correct?
It can be, yes.
Now, this document clearly says that someone from Duke University called, and I don't know if they called you or Natalie.
It would have been.
It just says they called and stated they don't have records backing the diagnosis for CLL, and they won't see her, right?
Correct. That would have been between the referral nurse and my nurse at the time. The referral would.
And because Natalie Cochran was investigating whether she had CLL or any other form of cancer, she would not be able to provide those records. Isn't that true?
That would be true.
Okay. She didn't get an appointment at the Cleveland Clinic for the reasons discussed. Now Duke is saying, we need records that show you've already been diagnosed with CLL, or we can't take you, right?
That's correct. That's what the note says.
And you didn't have any of those records which definitively would diagnose Natalie Cochran as having CLL, right?
Correct.
Because she's investigating, right?
Correct.
She's trying to see these people. They're telling her they can't see her in the oncology departments because they already need proof that she has CLL, right?
Yes.
Kind of a catch-22, isn't it?
That's medicine.
No further questions.
Anything, Mr. Truman?
Oh, unfortunately, I do. Doctor, the circular logic of that is this. She told you the month before that Duke is who diagnosed her with that, didn't she?
I believe it was from CAMC, not Duke. Duke came later.
And you never got your records from CAMC either?
No.
Wouldn't a primary care physician be aware if his patient was being treated for cancer?
We would hope so. We don't, unfortunately, we don't always get records.
Don't always get records, but usually you would have something to indicate that your patient had cancer.
Generally, we would have those records.
Almost always, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Thanks, Doctor.
Briefly.
Okay.
You don't have anything in your records that says CAMC said she had CLL, just that she might have it because of her elevated lowered white blood cell count. Isn't that right?
The only thing in the chart that I would have for that was the notes to my nurse and myself at the time during that first office visit.
And once again, I'm sorry to belabor the point. She suspects she has CLL because of conversations with CAMC or some other hospital or entity. She wants to be referred for further diagnosis as to whether she has it or not, right?
So I think the very first visit, she had already had apparently an appointment with Cleveland, so that didn't involve us. And that she was telling the nurse at the time that she was informed that she had CLL. That's what the
what nurse informed of
my nurse at the time.
You don't know if Natalie said, I'm pretty sure I have CLL and I want to be further diagnosed or treated, right?
Yeah, I can't remember the exact conversation. That was
okay.
6 years ago.
Did you or anyone from Access Health or any of these other entities, especially Duke, contact CAMC to get the lab results that indicated to Natalie Cochran she might have CLL?
I know that we would have. I can't speak for other entities, but I'm sure that we would have tried to get the documents from them.
But you didn't get them?
Correct.
Just a moment.
Okay.
John, I need to get stage 34 again.
Very well.
The parties are taking some time with this witness. If you're keeping count, we're on redirect after that recross from the prosecution. Let's bring in our analysts to see what they think about this witness. We have defense attorney and former head prosecutor Bob Bianchi is with us, and trial attorney Lateef Gray with us as well. Good to have you both on. Bob, let me start with you. Usually when we have a case, the prosecution typically has a super long list of witnesses, and the defense has a very short list. Usually no fluff added when it comes to defense witnesses. They have a specific purpose for every person they bring on, and they chose to bring on this witness. What's your best guess as the reasoning behind putting the family physician on the stand?
It's Julia. I came in the middle of the redirect, and I actually asked one of your producers, like, well, what is the purpose of this testimony? If as a prosecutor or as a person that's putting a witness on the stand, you want to make sure that at every step of the way, the jury or the judge, if they're the finder of fact, understands at every juncture what the relevance of the testimony is. Now we're going down this rabbit hole of the CLL, as they're calling it here, but I had to say to myself when I was listening to this, like, when you're doing redirect examination, that means there was a problem in the direct, or the witness was not properly prepared, or you believe that cross-examination drew some blood and you've got to clean it up. But this seems really sloppy and odd to me that we're on redirect, and I am not sure that I understand why the defense put this witness on in the first place, because now you own the witness's testimony, and if it's not satisfying to the finder of fact, then that's going to stick to you. The best I could see is that they want to get out from this witness is that the husband was in poor health, but we have gone down a rabbit hole, and the more the more the lawyer keeps redirecting on whether she had cancer or she said it or whether he got it somewhere else, you're letting the jury think, wow, this must be a big issue. Otherwise, why does he keep asking? He should just get out of this witness. It's not a good look for him.
Yeah, they've got to be honing in on every word now, because he must be something of an important witness to this defense. Lateef Gray, your thoughts on that and whether or not he's illuminating anything about this witness, because we do have the text message where she sent to her neighbor that she needed insulin because she was dealing with the flu, her husband was dealing with the flu, and she needed the insulin. She was also battling cancer, so the flu was really taking her out. I don't know that that needed to be illuminated, but clearly the defense was excited about it because they said, since you opened the door, prosecution, we're going all in.
Yeah, ordinarily you presume that a witness that's put on the stand by the defense is there to help the defense's case. I don't know that we're getting that from this witness. They're making a big deal about the CLL and the cancer diagnosis. So it seems like this witness is not helping the defense with his testimony, because either she had cancer or she didn't, and this family physician has no evidence that she has cancer. So they're trying to minimize her statement about cancer is what it seems like. But given the testimony of the physician, it seems like they're just amplifying this testimony about cancer.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to be that helpful since he's the family physician. He would have just referred her out to oncology or something of that nature. Stand by, guys. Let's go back in. That testimony back underway with Dr. Halsey on the stand.
Okay. Under case description, and I'm going to read from this, okay? It says, Natalie was returning a call to the nurse, and that's the nurse at Access Health,
yes,
right? Regarding lab results. Says, Natalie says, I tried to call the nurse around 12:20 p.m. There was no answer. And then the nurse says, in which I told the patient, and I don't know who I is, someone at Access Health, right?
Correct.
I would send a phone number to the nurse to return her call. The patient, that's Natalie, stated she is on her way back to her appointment with the cardiologist and then an appointment with the oncologist, and she wants her to be called at, and she leaves her phone number so she can try to get these records, right?
That's what the phone note says, yes.
Okay. And do you know if this is Natalie Cochran's phone number?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Last word, Mr. Truman.
The last word would be thank you to the doctor. He's been a good sport about all this. We're done.
Thank you very much, Dr. Halsey. You may step down. You are excused, sir. Call your next witness, Mr. Sheldon.
Did you hear that? That has got to be the courtroom letting out a big exhale after this witness went through all of that testimony.